Now I want to bring in the president of Bianco Research, Jim Bianco. You know, Jim, I'm not sure how much of the interview you just heard with Floyd Mayweather or the one I had earlier with Brian Foote. Obviously, this whole thing is blown up. You know, you've been in front of it. You've always mostly focused, though, on the bigger picture, right? The blockchain, decentralized financial world. But these issues, like, for instance, earlier today, Elon Musk, the cryptic tweet, Bitcoin gets hit. I mean, is that stuff, does that become an impediment to the grand adoption that you foresee for this whole industry?
Yeah, unfortunately it does, because I think there's two things going on at once. There's the creation of a new parallel financial system. It's certainly got the Federal Reserve's attention. They've accelerated their timetable that they're going to issue a paper this summer about digital currencies getting into the game as well, too. But then on top of that, you drop this giant casino on it, and there's this wild casino talk, and everybody moves on whatever influencer's tweet goes on. That can take away from the legitimacy of what is trying to be built. It shouldn't, because what is trying to be built is very real. But yeah, it gets frustrating to try and explain to people about decentralized finance and the new financial system when Dogecoin and dog coins are flying around all over the place, and it makes it look like it's just an out-of-control casino.
Now, this might help. I just saw a survey with financial planners. Now 14% of them say that they're either currently using or recommending digital assets to their clients. I mean, this was just less than 1% 2 years ago. So the financial world seems to really be embracing this a lot quicker.
Yeah, it has been. And I think there's been a wholesale change in the financial world, too. You know, 2 years ago, I couldn't get an audience among traditional financial people to talk about this stuff. You know, it started last summer, and it's really taken off in the last year or so, that people are now at least willing to listen to what's going on. And I think when they do and they understand what is at play here in trying to build a new, cheaper, faster financial system, and it might be a system that could be very disruptive to the traditional financial system, they're considering it at least seriously, and that's a good step. I don't expect them to go from nothing to adoption immediately, but at least have an open mind and understand that there's something going on here that should be respected. And a lot of the big financial firms are doing it as well, too. Some that weren't even considering this even less than a year ago.
It feels like that old hockey stick thing is happening. Hey, I got less than a minute, Jim. I got to ask about inflation. I know you've been sort of in the camp that it's going to be more than transitory. Does the numbers today, the job numbers, change your mind at all?
No, not at all. In fact, I think it's a little worrisome that we came up light of payrolls with another big wage increase number. It seems like what employers are starting to realize they're going to have to do to get people back into the labor force is pay them more money. And wages tend to be very stair-step. Once you've increased wages, it's almost impossible to lower them again. So I think we're on an increased step, and we're going to even be in an increased step up of more wages, and that will come through with higher prices to pay for those higher input costs that companies are going to have.
Jim Bianco, it's always a pleasure. Thank you, my friend. Now I want to bring in Republican Congresswoman Young Kim.